Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Incredibly windy day here. It's one of those days where you can almost anticipate the power going out. I sincerely hope I'm wrong on that. F.A. Ajagba, who many people think beat Martin Boli in their fight this past weekend. I tend to agree that he did beat Martin Boli. I've hesitated calling it a robbery, though. Out of 10 rounds, would you say 6-4? Or would you say 7-3? If it's 7-3, it becomes a little bit more like a robbery, doesn't it? Some people were saying, 8-2, in which case, that would be a robbery. I tended to think it was more like a 6-4. I think F.A. Ajagba was unlucky, and I'll leave it there. I'm hesitant to use the word robbery because, it gets overused, right? Any decision you don't like, it's like, oh, robbery. And it becomes overused. Anyhow, this isn't to talk about F.A. Ajagba and Martin Boli, because I actually believe that Ajagba could have done a bit more himself, and then that would have made it quite clear. Anyhow, it's about an interview that he gave after the fight. And he's still arguing that he's Africa's #1 heavyweight boxer. And of course, because he's got this majority draw, I suppose Bakole could say, well, no, I'm Africa's #1 heavyweight boxer. Well, apparently, the Ring magazine suggested to F.A. Ajagba, well, what about Anthony Joshua? Is he not #1? Obviously to get a bit of a reaction out of Ajagba. And Ajagba was quite clear that he doesn't consider Anthony Joshua to be Nigerian. Sort of like the Brits didn't consider Lennox Lewis to be British. He was Canadian, and then they, happily repatriated him when he became so successful. Anyhow, it's all a little bit tongue-in-cheek, this video, because I'm not taking this especially serious. For me, I actually really and truly don't care where a fighter comes from. I know that a lot of my subscribers, they put that patriotic flag around them and, cheer on the Brit and all that sort of stuff. But, when you're talking about multi-millionaire athletes, they're kind of like citizens of the world. They can go and live anywhere. Like Hamza Shiraz just took out citizenship in Dubai and lives in Dubai now. And so it's the ordinary people like me and people who are watching this video probably who've actually got jobs or whatever that we're the ones who are sort of stuck, if you like, in our countries. But the very, very rich multi-millionaire athletes, like Wayne Gretzky, the famous Canadian hockey player, he lives in somewhere in the United States of America. Anyways, I digress. But F.A. Ajagba said, no. Anthony Joshua isn't really Nigerian. He hasn't spent much time in Nigeria. In fact, my understanding is that Anthony Joshua's parents were both born in Nigeria. They emigrated to the UK. Anthony Joshua was, of course, born in the UK, though he did spend some time at a boarding school back in Nigeria. So I guess privately educated schoolboy back in Nigeria. Anyhow, he was in boarding school in Nigeria for a while. And F.A. Ajagba expanded upon this and said, when he's, training in Nigeria or comes to Nigeria, he's just getting content for social media. Clearly, he's going to be very popular in Nigeria, prodigal son returns and all that sort of jazz. But anyhow, F.A. Ajagba is quite insistent. No, he's not real Nigerian. Well, and the reason I sort of smiling as I'm saying this, because of course F.A. Ajagba lives in Texas, right? He lives and trains in Texas. So yes, I'm sure he still carries a Nigerian passport. Maybe, I don't know. Anyhow, I'm assuming he does. I am assuming also he's got a green card and lives in the United States of America. He lives in the United States of America. He trains, which it would be working in the United States of America. So he's there on some sort of visa, possibly a green card. Anyhow, I just find it amusing It's not like he's stayed in Nigeria and that's where he's boxing out of. But yes, it was amusing to me. Hopefully it's amusing to you. So yes, F.A. Ajagba is convinced that he is Africa's #1 fighter. The Ring magazine was saying, oh, but Anthony Joshua's got a tattoo of the continent of Africa on his shoulder and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I respect people who, what's the right word? Sort of, take pride in their cultural heritage, right? Some of you seen me drinking out of a mug with the Welsh dragon on. Yes, I can be very Welsh. On international rugby days playing against England, I am very, very Welsh. But, I haven't been to Wales for, an awfully long time. So anyhow, the interview moved on and they started talking about Dubois and Usyk, which is something, of course, that, I am interested in. And F.A. Ajagba shares the view of many of us on this channel that Parker should have been given the chance to fight Usyk. I mean, Parker, he beat Zhilei Zhang, he's beaten Deontay Wilder, and F.A. Ajagba said, well, Dubois pulled out of the fight against Parker. He got some sickness and pulled out. Anyhow, he pulled out. And he thinks that Dubois doesn't deserve that shot against Usyk, but in fact, it should go to Parker. And he went on to say, that Parker had knocked out Bakole, who was the last-minute stand-in. And his exact words were, I was surprised about Usyk Dubois, to be honest. That was supposed to be a fight for Joseph Parker. It has to be fair, and that's not fair. Dubois got sick before their fight, so it doesn't make sense to me. Parker won the replacement fight. He beat Martin Boli, so now he should have got the opportunity to fight Usyk. Daniel Dubois has fought him before, and he lost, so why is he getting it again? He has to fight Joseph Parker like they first planned instead of Usyk. That's a challenge, but it is what it is. This is boxing. So that kind of echoes what I've been saying and what I know a number of other fans have been saying. I know that ship sailed and we should be looking forward to the July 19th fight, as we are. But I tell you, if I was associated with Team Parker in some way, or if I was a real dyed-in-the-wool Parker fan, I'd be pretty upset, as I'm sure they are. I mean, there's some Australasian subscribers here who've expressed, their feelings. So yes, I do think Parker got the, that dirty and somewhat smelly end of the stick there. I wonder what's going to be done for Parker. He's with Frank Warren. I wonder, is Frank Warren motivated to sort of keep Parker sweet in some ways? I don't know. I really don't know. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, ask your friends, your mum and dad, your kids, your pets to subscribe. And please keep the comments coming. I love responding to the comments, as you know. And I love to see the interaction, the discussions that go back and forth. So those are all really good things. Thank you again. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.